have a discussion about engineering and technology. We are inviting our first panelist on the stage, Dr. CVS Kiran. Dr. CVS Kiran is a R&D statistic initiative at Skyroots. He is a material scientist with 16 years of experience across academia and industry. Former scientist at ISRO and Karlsruhe Institute of Technology at Germany.
Our second panelist is Balaprasad Peddagali. Sir, he is the Chief Innovation Officer at Global and Global Head of Technology Advisory Services, CMT unit at TCS. He has an experience of 24 plus years as a Principal Consultant and Chief Innovation Officer at Media, Communication and Technology.
Our third panelist is Mr. Jignesh Talasila. Mr. Jignesh Talasila is a co-founder and CEO at Perspect AI. Has mastered the art of creating contextual and non-contextual games in VR. He has been advising innovation teams at MNCs and government.
Moderator for this panel is Mr. Ramakrishna. He comes with experience corporate and he is a certified career coach and has 7+ years experience in narrating students. The event is over to the panel members.
Good morning. That's like you had a wonderful breakfast. All of you had breakfast? No, okay, yeah, that's not good. Okay, wonderful. We'll just begin the conversation. And as you all know by now, our names. My name is Ramakrishna, and we have wonderful panelists today from different background. So I'm trying to step into your shoes and ask questions to our panel. Is that okay, or should I ask from my side? Which one do you prefer? Should I get into your shoes and ask, or how is it you want to do? You want both ways? Okay, if I get into my shoes and ask, then you may get bored. So I prefer it in the first way and a little bit of my way as well. Okay, wonderful. Welcome to the panel, my dear friends. So we'll begin with our Dr. Kiran. By now you all know he comes from a science background. He is a scientist. Worked for ISRO. Okay. So sir, my first question to you, researcher versus scientist, are they both same as a career when you look at, or are they different? And what it takes if any of these youngsters want to become either a researcher or a scientist? Over to you, sir.
So, good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
So the question what was posed is researcher versus scientist. Yeah? Very, very subtle difference what we have over there. So before I go into that point, probably I just would like to introduce myself so that it motivates a little bit of the audience what is going on in one's life as a researcher towards going to the goal of a scientist. Yeah, towards going to the goal as a scientist. So most important point, I started my career at after studying my bachelor's in BTech and bachelor's in technology from MGIT in the field of metallurgy and materials. So why I went into metallurgy and materials? Yeah, since my childhood I have been associated with my mother, who has been a scientist at the National Geophysical Research Center, and I have been very passionate on different types of stones, minerals basically. So through that, I was too much motivated and I went forward to take this course of metallurgy and materials. And then I went on further staying in that only field. I also have an expertise in computer science. So all the courses, whatever are available at that point of time, I finished all of them. And then further went on to do my master's in material science and engineering from Germany. University of Keene. So starting from that point of bachelor's, I've been associated with research. So I was doing sort of small projects at different laboratories throughout Hyderabad, at various laboratories, national laboratories. Then I started also during my master's to work part-time in different laboratories at the university itself, so that I could gain more of what is going on. So I was not concentrating myself on one particular field during my bachelor's level. I kept it as much broad as possible, both at bachelor's level, master's level also. And after master's level, it was also the suggestion given by many of the former scientists, former directors. One, Dr. N. Kondarao Garu, former director of CMD of Nuclear Fuel Complex, is no more. But he has given me a brilliant suggestion saying that never concentrate your field right at your bachelor's, master's level. Only after your master's level, it automatically goes towards that. Before that, don't concentrate on particular field.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful, sir. That's a good message.
That's one point which is very important. So research then on starts at this point, and when you go into a particular position or a job title, then it becomes a scientist. So you have identified goals which you have to work for the organization. So these things make it towards forming a scientist.
Very nice. So you want to give a quick, differentiation between researcher and scientist? Is that?
Yeah. So the goals of a researcher go in terms of identifying a plethora, full-fledged plethora. You're going to identify it based on a particular project. But the goals of a scientist are dependent on the organization. So those are bound by the organization where you're working. So those define also the work in which we are going.
Wonderful. That does make sense? Yes. Everybody, how many of you are here wanting to become a scientist or a researcher? Raise of hands. No, nobody, not even a single scientist or a researcher.
How many of you want to become an IT person?
Yeah, we come to it. We have a panelist who comes from a pure, technology, IT background, and we have another one as well. So, sir, you mentioned you were inspired by your mom. Yeah, how old is she and what is?
She is in 6th class now.
Is she also aspiring to become, follow the footsteps of father and grandmother?
Hopefully towards the field of science.
Yeah, wonderful.
Hopefully towards the field of science.
Yeah, typically it's always said that lawyers' children would become a lawyer and a doctor's, children would become. So I'm trying to see if that is the case here. If a scientist, researchers, children would also want to become that. Thank you, sir. We'll come back to you. And my next panelist for today is we have Bala Garu, and he. I was kind of a little, confused personally myself. Is it invention or innovation? So, sir, you want to start from that point. Is it invention or innovation? Of course, you can give you a little bit of a background of your career. How did you get here? In a quick rundown, and then, of course, touch upon the point invention versus innovation.
Sure, thank you. Good morning to everyone, and thank you, Safa 1.0 team, for organizing this wonderful career conclave. So, way back in the late 90s, when I need to choose my career, one of the hottest topic which was running at that moment is Y2K problem. So, when something which is very hot in the market, you tend to get attracted to that. So that was natural that I got attracted to the computer science, and that's where I put myself into the Masters in Computer Applications to get to there. But there was one constant fear in me, whether this particular technology will sustain or it will continue to grow, or what are the other skills which are required to make sure that I will be staying relevant in this space. The two things which came to my attention at that point of time when I was trying to meet some of the experts, if you want to really sustain in any particular technology forum or in any kind of an organization, you need to have two important skills. One is critical thinking, where you will be having the ability to challenge the status quo and you continuously motivate yourself to do the things differently and stay relevant. Second important skill is communication with the power of storytelling. No matter how good you are in technology, no matter how good you are in your core skills, unless you communicate to the people in a story manner, it will not really attract the people. So if you see I believe you all watch movies, right? So when you watch movies, some movies directors tell the story very, very beautiful way, which will stay in your memories for a long time. Some stories does not stay. It's about the storytelling which makes a big difference. That's how you try to build your network. So I started my career in TCS way back in '98. It's been almost like 24 years now. And once I joined TCS, it was only one thing which was staying in my mind. You need to move your career fast. Some people who join IITs, they get a great launch pads. No doubt about it. And some people who join National Institute of Technology, they get not good launch pads. It's your launch pad which tells you where to start your career. So since I was coming from the MCA, people have gone through the BTech at the same time. They had a 2 years of career advantage ahead of me. But if I want to beat them, I need to stay fast track. And TCS was offering a lot of fast track. But if you want to stay fast track, it's not only performing at a high level, demonstrating your excellence at a high level, but you also need to continuously rebrand yourself. So staying relevant, staying current, and also rebranding is the key for any individual in the organization looking into the trends. So if you are currently looking into the trends, what is very much important in India, you need to really aspire to master that area. Today in the IT, AI plays a role. At that point of time in the early 2000s, it was more of a maintenance services, automation services which were kicking in. And one of the area which was attracted to me was the Microsoft technologies. So I was branding myself as a Microsoft expert. Then cloud came into existence. Then rebranded myself to the cloud expert. Then people felt like it's not only the cloud, but you need to also look into some of the good areas like architecture space, enterprise architecture I was rebranding. Then now AI and blockchain, Web 3.0, these things are coming. So you need to look into the emerging technologies and rebrand. Continuous rebranding is needed in the IT area. No matter whichever profession you get into the medicine profession, or you get into the fashion technology, you get into the manufacturing area or fintech space, every space has got a continuous changes, and with the change, you need to always look at what is the new thing I need to learn, adopt, and excel in that space. So rebranding is a key area which really helped me to move up in a career and took advantage. There are situations where IITs were reporting to me who started the career. So if you have an inspiration to move up in your career, be always on your fast track, be always stay relevant and current. Now coming to the question which you posted about invention versus innovation. So if I want to ask you, what is the best invention that happened in this world? What comes to your mind?
Come on, anyone can try that. What is the best invention that happened in this world? Who would want to try it? What else? Some answers from this side. Mobile, internet. What else? Anything other than technology?
See, inventions have not happened now. Inventions are happening during the ages. So you look from the age-old standpoint and tell me what is the best invention happened. So, wheel. Who mentioned wheel? Can you please stand up? Stand up. Please applaud him. That is the best invention happened in this world. That's right. Why was an invention? But wheel, which was really motivating. AI and other things are the softer side of the inventions, I could not deny. But wheel was the best invention happened in this world. So invention is all about making the new things which was not existing. Innovation is all about doing the things in a different way. It could be the optimization, it could be the reducing the cost. But again, in the innovation side, one of the major things which we normally see is about Jugaad innovation. Have you heard about Jugaad innovation? Jugaad.
The Jugaad is a term, being Indians, we all should be proud of and should be known about it. Isn't it?
Indian way of innovating the things. Another thing you normally see in the WhatsApps also, right? A lot of video content which comes in where people utilize the scooter engine for doing certain automation things, but pulling up the cement bags or running the sugarcane juice things, many things they try to do. It's all about jugaad, but jugaad innovation does not scale. It resolves the situation at that point of time and make it happen. And there are many jugaad innovations in this world, and that is good because that really develops your creative thinking because you start thinking differently. But sustained innovation requires where you can package the things and do the things more, sell it and make it more monetizable. And that innovation requires a lot of differentiators. You can do process innovation. If you take the textile industries, there are different stages which are involved. And people got Padma awards just because they occupied one particular process stage in the textile industry. Similarly, you try to think about the technology innovations and product innovations, new products get emerged, just like an iPhone is a new products which are coming in the market. So such kind of a thing. There are different categories. Service innovation, which is also there. So innovations will be there in the different categories, doing the things in a different way to make things better and positive for the future. So subtle difference, new things, doing the things different way.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much. Can we give a round of applause for that? Okay. So I think there was two key messages. One is reskilling and upskilling constantly. Otherwise, you are out of the game. It doesn't matter what qualification do you possess or what's going on. But if you are not connected to the world, the developments, then we are out of the game. So that's a message for everybody. It's not just for students, for all of us. If we don't reinvent, reskill, upskill, we are out of the game. So keep that message with you. Take that a long way. Thank you, sir, for that clarification. Now let me move on to our next panelist. And sir, I was told there's a lot of introduction was given to me by Niklesh about you. The one thing what he said was he's a true startup guy. I don't know what you're going to ask him. I didn't get an opportunity to meet him, off stage. But I want to start the same way. You want to give a little bit of background about your career. How did you choose your career? And I have an interesting question for you once you're done with that. Go ahead. How did you start your career? What made you to get into what you're doing today? So that, all our friends here today can, walk away with a message from you.
Sure. Good morning, Ma. Like most of you, my dream was to go into an IIT. In fact, it was not my dream, my father's dream. So he was in Madras 30 years ago working in a small factory. He went through a forest where students were sitting on trees and studying. He thought, my kid should go here. So my dream ended up becoming getting into an IIT campus. But then what happened was very dramatic. I never got into any IIT campus, nor AIEEE, nor even good MCET colleges. So, but most of my friends went to the top IITs of the country. So as I went to start my graduation, I realized that these guys are doing very innovative things, very crazy stuff. They have faculty coming from MIT, Stanford's, teaching them snake robots, mapping robots, whatnot. Whereas we, in our college, are not even talking about syllabus, we're just talking about bunking classes and going out to movies. So that's when I realized we are really missing something just because we are not in the right college. Not because you're not talented. Not because you are not really the potential great person. Just because you are not at the right place, you will miss opportunities. So being in the right place, the right time is very important. That's the first lesson I learned at the age of 18 and 19. That's when I realized I regretted not studying well for IIT. That's fine. Now I do not regret anymore. But then I said, okay, if that is what they are doing, why can't we do the same in our college? Yes, if faculty are not there, they have YouTube. Why don't we leverage these open source resources and do something else? So that's how started something called Geetham University Science and Activity Center. We built robots, went to NASA. We built solar cars, traveled across Andhra back in the day. We built power pumps, hydel power pumps, which power water to 50 acres around the villages in Srikakulam without electricity. So we did all the hardcore stuff, and that's when we realized we are better than anyone else wherever we are, as long as we focus on it. So during this stage, we also started something called an education center for students in the evenings. So in the Science Activity Center, post-classroom work, students used to come and just learn anything that they want to learn. Someone asked me, how can a beer be made? So we actually started learning how is beer made, what is the process of fermentation, how do we get the molasses, and we actually taught everyone how beer is made. So this is how I started getting passion towards education. So I ended up starting my first company in education. Then we realized we are doing good work, there is satisfaction, but there is no money. You can live without money for some time, but not for a long time, especially when your friends are moving across the world, working in Tesla, working in Apple, making a lot of money. That's when you get a pitch, okay, let me also make some money. So that's how again I pivoted. We went on to different journeys. We built virtual reality cycling devices, we built multiple fancy stuff. Finally now what we are doing is, we do game-based talent assessments. So what does that mean? If you want to get into a job, today in TCS, you have an exam called TCS ION. So you have to go there, write a 2-hour exam by answering MCQs, writing a program. So I am telling Tatas now, why are you wasting time? Especially the Gen Z is not interested about these question-answer long exams. Why don't you just give them a game to play? The way they play the game will tell you whether they are suitable for the job or not, and give them the job. And luckily, companies like Tatas and Birlas have already adopted this. We have 3 Tata customers, 1 Birla customer, and a bunch of others, Ashok Leyland and whatnot. So now India is moving towards the next wave, which is game-based tests. Eventually, you'll see this in your schools and classes as well, not maybe you, maybe 10 years down the line, where everyone will be assessed on game or a simulation, in virtual reality or on your mobile devices. No more exams, no more paper pen, no more boring stuff. So that is the future that we are building at Perspect AI. So I'll take a pause there.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So how many of you, everybody raises their hand. Now, yeah, even the elders here, would want to take. So all the parents also not to play or, getting addicted to gadgets and all that. So now that shouldn't be an excuse for you not to do well in your academics, huh? Okay, that does not mean that. So please keep that in mind. Now don't go back home and tell your parents that, today we met somebody who's a backbencher, has done a lot of good work. That shouldn't be an excuse. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing your, journey, sir. But I have one question, since you talking about very passionate about technology. Nowadays, there's intelligence. You want to throw some light. What is this AI all about? And how do one shape their career getting into AI?
Absolutely. So, to understand artificial intelligence, first you need to understand human intelligence. If you don't understand human intelligence, we can't understand artificial intelligence. So, coming to the world for the first time. Now for this baby, does the baby know how to speak, how to write, how to walk, how to talk? The kid started walking on the roads. Suddenly, the kid sees that there is a fighting that is happening in the market, and immediately police came and hit them hard, put them in the jeep and took them to the jail. Now next time, when there is a fighting happening around, will the kid go and participate in it? Why? Because the kid would be afraid that he will be taken to the police station and in a jail. But is someone teaching the kid what is happening there? The kid learned by themselves, right? Now this is called the unsupervised learning. Now what if we apply the same two concepts for technology? What if you treat the code that you write as a baby and train it? Let's take an example. I take 1,000 images of cat and just keep showing the AI camera that this is cat, this is cat, this is cat, this is cat, this is cat. And I'll show this is dog, this is dog, this is dog, this is dog. And next picture when I show it, it will know yes, this is cat. Similarly, eventually once the AI based model is created, you leave it to the world. This is where the deep tech comes to picture. And that's where it will start learning by itself. In fact, there is a concept in AI where there is deeper research-oriented concept called the explainability of AI. That means now people are not even understanding what AI has understood. It is giving us results. But inside its brain, what is happening, like inside your human brain, what is happening, your parents sometimes doesn't understand, right? The same way, now it went to that step, that stage and level. So in AI, flatly there are simple concepts. First job for anyone to get into AI is to write a code. If you don't know the language of computer, how can you even talk to the computer and train the computer? So learning the language of computer is the first aspect, which is what in this today's world Python or R, a bunch of languages are. Now once you understand the language, you start training it. This is where you are called the model trainer, data analysis, data analyst, data scientist, whatever. So you keep training the model with various data points and data inputs. Now once that is done, you start building models, how the brain network of AI should work. The neural networks are what we call it, just like in our brain. In fact, the biggest challenge in front of humans is not AI, it's understanding a human brain. If we can understand how the neural networks in our brain works, we will crack AI like anything. That is the research that's going in. This subject of concept is called the cognitive sciences. There is neurocognitive science, which is human cognitive science, and there is the computer purpose, the artificial cognitive sciences. So these are the areas you should be fascinated about. All you're trying to do is treat the computer as a small baby and you start training it for real world use cases. Make the baby ready for the world and make the baby do the work for the world. So that's how you have to look at the AI.
Okay, very nice. So, sir, I've been reading. Yeah, please. That deserves a round of applause. Thank you. So, please, sir, go ahead.
So when you are very good analogy, Jignesh. But remember, AI is not only solving the IT problems. Remember, AI is also addressing many industry problems. AI for healthcare. The patient-related diagnostic informations can be modeled, dealt, so that any kind of a patient who comes with a similar kind of a disease, you have the exact diagnostics recommended by the AI, rather than going through the pain of tests. Similarly, AI for manufacturing, AI for textile industries, AI for fintech. Your investment advisor could be an AI, rather than depending upon anyone else. So because of the AI, many of the rudimentary jobs get eliminated, but intelligent jobs get created. So remember, IT people said that they lose jobs, but it has created a number of jobs. People now say that AI has come, it removes a lot of jobs, but I'm sure that it will create many more intelligent jobs and eliminate monotonous jobs which people normally do. Look out for the intelligent jobs and gamified testing areas, it will catch up because that is the future. Remember, we are moving into the future gamified area and you will start seeing that change soon.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. In fact, that's my next question for the panel. But you already stole it from me. But we'll just pause for a moment and see, sir, what's your view on that point?
So one of the most important points which was told is what is the real world case where we are actually using that. Please concentrate on that point. Whenever we are talking about any of these technology or anything, what is the real world scenario? Where do we need it? That is what is important. That is what drives the entire system. So this is going to create new jobs or remove jobs. Both are only possible by the real world scenarios.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Kiran. So Kiran garu, meeku inkoka question andi. ఇప్పుడు జనరల్గా చాలా మందికి ఇస్రో, నాసా, స్పేస్ ఎక్స్ ఇట్లాంటి చోట పనిచేయాలని ఆస్పిరేషన్ గా ఉంటుంది. అంటే వీళ్ళు ఎక్కడైనా ఆకాశం నుంచి ఊడిపడతారంటే ఈ కంపెనీలో పనిచేసే వాళ్ళు కొంచెం
సో ఇస్రో, నాసాలో పనిచేసే వాళ్ళు ఆకాశం నుంచి ఊడిపడతారు. ఎస్, రైట్. సో ఫార్చునేట్లీ ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ద కేస్. సో I don't know whether most of you know, I come from a company now called Skyroot Aerospace, India's first private rocket launch company. We launched the rocket on September last year, November 18 last year, and then we targeted it 2 years before to launch this one. It was a significant step for the country. But this technology of space sciences, what we have in India, is the legacy what ISRO has given us. The same way what we have around the world, the NASA from the United States, JAXA from Japan, European Space Agency from all the European countries together, the Russian Space Agency, Cosmos or whatever it is called, all of them together form a complete different entity. And why this is important is that all the fields of engineering and technology are embedded inside the space sciences. There is no field which escapes space sciences. And it does not need a person from any IIT. Mark my words, it does not need any person from any IIT. It only needs passionate people. And every technology which is not a jugaad technology, something which is very, very reliable, is only going to be placed there. Because there will be crores and crores of money which will be at risk, and there will be human life which will be at risk. So jugaad works at home. I do a lot of jugaad work, but when it comes into space sciences, into building a rocket, None of that is even permitted to even 0.001%. So, most of us know Made in Germany was a great mark, right? We have huge respect for Made in Germany, right? So, what do we say Made in India? I want to look at Made in India at that respect also in future. But in order to achieve that, what we need is to come from this Jugaad technology into a reliable technology and a repeatable technology. Which means that we ourselves who are making this Jugaad should create a stable form of this technology or application, whatever we are doing, be it from AI or artificial neural networks or building the entire space, completely mapping it. There are huge number of things, or building a rocket. Everything starts at your young age. You should be exposed to most of these things. You should visit most of the laboratories, know what is going on throughout. Then only you will be able to understand, okay, this is my strength, this is my field of expertise, which I would be interested in going. This motivates me. Yeah, sorry, I think I'm...
No, I think that's a perfect way to put across. Thank you so much, Kiran Garu. Yeah, that deserves a round of applause. Thank you. So now this is a question actually Bala garu actually ayana dagara theeseskunna question nenu adaka mundare, but still I'm going to ask all three of them put this one question. But AI is a buzzword. Manandariki artificial intelligence is a buzzword. So now, do it really take away jobs, or is it going to create new jobs? Maybe you want to give each of your perspective. You just get started, sir. అంటే ఎట్లాంటి ఉద్యోగాలు పోయే ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుంది ఏఐ వల్ల, ఎట్లాంటి కొత్త ఉద్యోగాలు వచ్చే ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుంది, దానికి వీళ్ళంతా యంగ్స్టర్స్ ఎట్లా తయారు కావాలి? అంటే ఇప్పటివరకు మనకున్న డిస్కషన్ బట్టి ఏమవుతుందంటే ఫౌండేషన్ ఒకటి ప్యాషన్ ఉండాలి, హోలిస్టిక్ అప్రోచ్ ఉండాలి, నెక్స్ట్ వచ్చేసి ద టెక్నాలజీ అండ్ సైన్స్, నథింగ్ కెన్ ఎస్కేప్ ఫ్రమ్ ఇట్. అంటే ఈ ప్యానల్ వచ్చేసి సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ కాబట్టి దాని మీదే కొంచెం ప్రెస్ చేస్తున్నాను, బట్ యాక్చువల్లీ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ వెరీ బిగ్ ఫ్యాన్ ఆఫ్ సైన్స్ అండ్ టెక్నాలజీ పర్సనలీ. But I was asked to moderate this panel, but that's okay. So the question is, sir, AI, will it take away jobs, or is it going to create new jobs? Maybe you want to give a few examples, sir, and I'll go round robin to all three of you.
Sure. Before getting into that particular question, one of the fundamental things what we all need to learn is, in the schools, we teach a lot of mathematics, right? And in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade, probably some of the time you will be start acquainted with probability and statistics. Yes? How many of you are aware of probability and statistics? How many of you are aware of linear algebra or calculus? These are some of the foundational skills which are required for AI. If you know this particular skills, then only you will be able to really mature yourself into the AI. Second important thing, as Kiran mentioned, real world. Applications of this particular subjects what you are learning, when you really try to apply the thoughts or try to understand where the applications of these things are happening, then you will be able to discover the real world problems. So foundational skills are critical. Understanding the applications of these foundational skills are important. Then you will be able to tap into any of the subject. Now it is AI, tomorrow it could be quantum computing. Or metaverse, what is already becoming hot, what he was trying to say. So applications will evolve over the period. Now coming to the question of what jobs would stay, what jobs would go away, and what jobs would get created. Any job which does not understand the human intelligence, what he mentioned, Jignesh, or anything which is repeated, monotonous, they all will go away. Anything where you are trying to do manual way of interacting and trying to do the question and answer kind of a response systems will go away. Today, a banker will come to you and say that, okay sir, you give me all your earnings and tell you how can you invest and get more money. Investment, advisor jobs will go away. It can be done through the AI systems. Lawyers, there is a lot of junior lawyers who are trying to accumulate a lot of historical data and trying to provide the guidance to the senior lawyer what need to be done. That kind of an accumulation of the data will go away because these junior lawyers will be redundant in the job. So newspapers, means news reporters I would say, Any kind of a news which is getting generated, which is coming from the different sources, and but if it is manually gone there, even before a reporter goes and captures the things, people are trying to blog and share the things with the images. So there would be robot newsletters, robot newspapers, which will be really doing the reporting even before you are coming at it. So every industry which is manual, monotonous, laborious in nature will go away, and the new jobs which is more intelligent driven will be created. Now, people are creating this kind of an intelligent ecosystem, need to be developing that AI related programming skills and also develop and train the models like a human brain works. What Jignesh was referring to the fact, yes, if you are able to do that kind of a programming techniques, you will be able to do wonders. Now you will stop teaching about kind of a what is a, how do you discover, whether you give a number and say whether it is an odd or even. You give a number and say whether it is a prime number. These are the programming methods which are taught in the initial stages of your programming. But nowadays these programs are simple chat GPTs, like you might be very, very popular nowadays about generative pre-trained transformers, what we call GPTs. It is providing the code base already. The 40 to 50% of the code base is available. You need not code. But building that intelligent logic, bringing out new automation skills into that will be the key. And getting to that space is important. So AI-based jobs are getting created, automation-based jobs are getting created. People who have that application technology skills will be able to cherish and make up their career in the future.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. And Jignesh Garu, you want to add something? From your perspective, you have been, witnessing an entrepreneurial journey. What would you look as the new jobs from your perspective, which will be AI will be creating as such?
Jobs are not going anywhere now. So, how many ever humans are there on this world? There are more jobs than the humans. That is for sure there. But the point is, they're going to move from one place to other places. Take an example. How many of you know this camera brand called Kodak? The real camera. You wish to put it in. Ask your parents, they'll tell you. Their marriages were taking pictures through these Kodak cameras. How many of you know these brands where there used to be alarms which will just move, make noise, and then you press a button and it will stop? How many of you know this brand called Nokia, which was building that hard, rugged, hardcore, not today's Nokia, the back in the day, 1100, etc., etc. Now, where are all these jobs going to now? These companies doesn't exist anymore. These jobs have moved from those three companies to Apple, Samsung, or OnePlus. Just that the product changed, the application changed, the new systems came and new processes came, that's all. So people are not going to lose jobs, in fact they're going to get more jobs. The aspirations of humans are going to be a lot more than yesterday. But the point is, don't expect the same job what your parents or what your brothers and sisters have done. You will have something, you will have a special and a new job altogether, but be prepared to get there faster than anyone else. Wherever it is, think about it. I now talk to my friends and say this. During our parents' day, they were fools. Why? Because they never came to Hyderabad and bought that one gajam for 100 rupees. And today, we are doing the same mistake and our kids will talk about us in the same way. So tomorrow, don't let your kids talk about you in the same way. So when the new market opens up, you have to be the first one to walk in there to grab the best of it. So get ready for it. For this, you need certain skills. You should be always learning. You should be always looking out for what is new happening around the world. You should be aware of the current affairs, what is happening in the world really, how people are using different concepts in different markets. And you have to be willing to learn and apply these things irrespective of someone telling you to do that work. Today I see a lot of students and interns that I get, only if I ask them to do something, they'll do it, otherwise they don't do it. But in the remaining time, you can actually sit and explore something by yourself, figure out something, come back and tell me, hey, you know what, there's something interesting I found, we want to apply this here. So these are the people who will really get benefited from the market. Others, no. They'll get stuck, they'll be normal clerks and peons, and they'll do the basic work, they'll get the basic salaries. So that's pretty much it. Always be on your feet, look for what is new happening, keep learning, and keep applying it whether someone tells you to do it or not.
Yeah, thank you. So sir, I think that's a nice answer. Maybe మీ పిల్లలు హైదరాబాద్ లో గజన్ స్థలం కొనలేదని అడగరేమో. Maybe వేరే ప్లానెట్స్ లో ఎందుకు ఇన్వెస్ట్ చేయలేదు మా డాడీ అని అడుగుతారేమో. బిట్కాయిన్ ఇన్వెస్ట్ చేయలేదు అంటారు. Maybe that could be the possible question 20 years down the line. Thank you sir.
20 years probably is a wrong notion.
Yeah.
So now everyone of you who are in this auditorium, a question to you: how long do you think would it take to reach from one corner of this world to the other corner? In minutes, in hours. How do you reduce it? What is the actual time? What could be possible? Second would be great. Yes. What else? Any realistic number?
Any guesses? No, any science student here?
I'll just add some context to that. Today from Hyderabad to San Francisco, it takes us 16 hours to flight. SpaceX is coming with a new project. In fact, they announced, they released videos and everything about this. How you can move the same distance in very less time. And Kiran is asking about that possible time.
Only 9 minutes. You'll be able to travel from one corner of the world to the other corner. You'll be able to ship your entire damn cars, whatever, full sets of lorries towards the, you buy it here, you place an order, and in the next 30 minutes you get it.
It'll be costly for now.
It's costly as you know, as you look at it now, but it's going to be right when you are going through the age. The next 10 years is going to redefine everything what you are currently looking at, especially because of the development in the space sector. Second one is the sector of marine sciences. These two sectors are going to rule the next 10 years and define what has to come inside the world in terms of applications, in terms of any sort of responses what even the humans need, from in terms of medical. So whatever you are doing every day in current scenario is all a result of what has come out from the space sector. All fields are imbibed in the space sector, ranging from IT, ranging from civil engineering, where without civil engineering, no launch pads, no roads can be made. Yeah, without materials, nothing can be made. Materials engineering, fundamentals. Without electronics, no components can be made. No satellites can be made which can monitor our borders. No wars can be evaded. Yeah, and then without what will I left off? Mechanical engineering, which is a strong, hardcore backbone, nothing can be done. So the core fields of engineering and science and technology are going to remain their strength. They are going to retain their strength. There will nothing which is going to happen to them. Although now people are only thinking about AI and artificial neural networks and so on. At the end of the day, the core fields always retain their strength. And jobs might decrease in any field, not in the core fields. Core fields demand is an evergreen demand.
Very, very nice, sir. Very nice. Actually, I wanted to ask from your perspective, since you already answered that. Thank you, Kiran Garu. Can we give a round of applause to Kiran Garu? And that was really a wonderful conversation. A lot of insights, all three of them put in. Now I was just given an indication that we're almost running short of time. We'll have to open it up for questions. And with your permission, I'm going to open it up for questions. Any questions from anyone from the audience? I'm going to come to you.
I'm from CMOGA Junior College. So, Jignesh sir, I wanted to ask you a question because as we're in entrepreneurial journey. So, if a person has a startup idea, so what is the journey from a startup idea to the fundraiser, and how ready it should be before approaching a fundraiser?
This is not the platform to allow content available to you from the day you start the idea. In fact, how to even generate an idea and how to execute it. So go to that content. But my sincere suggestion, as Kiran said in the beginning, is don't start about thinking to start a company right away. That's a big mistake I made. And today after 10 years I realized that. I wasted my youth on unnecessary things. I could have done better things. So what my recommendation for you would be, try to learn a little bit about everything first. Before you learn a lot about one thing. Okay, so try to learn less and less about more and more before you learn more and more about less and less.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Can you give a round of applause? You have the courage to ask a question about startup. I'm sure some of you are having that in your mind. Who's going to?
Sir, I'm Manikanta Hemant from GHS Lab. I want to ask that which field is better, medical field or engineering field?
Who is better, your mom or dad?
answer that. Who do you choose between your mom and dad?
I can't answer that.
Exactly. The world needs everyone.
Are they here? Your mom and dad are here?
No.
People have the misconception that one field is better, one field is bad. But without the other field, none of us can survive. Electronics, be it civil or be it medical field. Without materials, nothing can survive in medical field. Without electronics, nothing can survive. And you need IDs so that people can program it which can suit you. Your watches, smart watches which are there. Without people from medical field and from the computer science and electronics, nothing can survive. We could not get a product out. So everything stands at the end, unity.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, wonderful. So, what suits you is more important. Okay, yeah. Who's going to go? The next question comes.
Sunil, sir, you said that AI is like a child, which means that it will grow from child to an adult in the form of a human being, right, sir? At present, we being students, we are not listening to our parents. At first, we followed our parents like a duck. Now we are trying to learn by ourselves. Will AI also do the same thing?
Absolutely.
Round of applause to this question.
This is the question. In fact,
I love that question. Really, I love that question.
AI already started doing that.
So, just to answer, any kind of an AI system, a machine, just like you said, we teach small things within specific intent, what we call narrow artificial intelligence. As we try to increase the intelligence, then it becomes a general intelligence, generic AI, what we call. But if you really want to mimic the entire human intelligence, that's where the superior or superhuman AI, what we try to call about. So as the progressive AI happens, as you rightly said, it may intend to perform the things what you are not supposed to do. And that's where the concept of ethical AI comes in. You have seen already the movie called Robo, right? What Rajinikanth has released.
Yes, sir.
Huh? So it did certain things which it's not supposed to do. Because it has been programmed in that manner. And certain things can be done for the good, certain things can be done for the bad also. And that's the reason he brought out another point in his earlier responses, explainable AI. So how AI is thinking, how is AI is trying to respond is what the explainable AI trying to give you the traceability. And that need to be continuously monitored to make very good AI-based systems so that it listens or it tries to learn from the mistakes and perform the things. Systems make mistake, no AI system is perfect, remember that. It eventually gets to the near perfection as the time progresses. Today, whatever the technologies is going to release, ChatGPT, what is popular now, does not respond. There is a lot of technology content modernization happens, but there are similar systems exist which gives you a lot of funny things which is not expected. A lot of incorrect things. So we need to be ready for that.
Simple thing, ma. Have you ever tried Google Maps?
Yes, sir.
Did it anytime made a mistake?
Yes, sir.
Did it take you to wrong places and end of the roads and made you go straight, go left, go right? Did it happen to you?
Not exactly, but
It happened a lot to me. Okay, but the point is, you take the assistance of AI, but you use your brain. Until AI matures to a level where you can stop. So we have to be cautious as human beings about it.
Your name once again, please.
Your name?
Puneet, sir.
Puneet.
Puneet.
Big round of applause.
Yeah, round of applause. Thank you, Puneet. We want to take two more questions. Any parents here would like to ask a question, or should we give it to only students? Please, parents, feel free to ask questions if any of you would like to ask. Okay, I'm going to go to the last rows here now. Anybody here have got any questions?
Come on, backbenchers, you have a different set of questions altogether.
Yeah,
Feel
come
free to
on.
ask.
Anybody has a question over here? Raise your hand, whoever want to ask question.
Parents and students can ask in
Yeah.
any language,
Yeah.
not only in English, in any language.
English either अड़गंडी.
Telugu अच्छो हिंदी भी थोड़ा आता है तो you can try.
So anybody, any parents would like to ask? I saw quite a few over in the first rows. So who's going to ask question from these rows? Come on, you tell me. Come, give the phone. If you don't have a question, what is that one thing you are going to take away from this session today? Come on. What's your name?
Anjali.
Yeah. What is your takeaway? What did you learn, or you're always looking at the phone? Yeah. Come on. Then what's your takeaway?
I mean, I've got to know about a lot of information.
What was that information all about?
Like about AI. Like it's not like developed as much, but it's growing.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. What did you? What's your name? You said?
Anjali.
Anjali. Can we give a round of applause to Anjali? No one has.
We have ma'am asking questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, the friend.
This one you can ask me repeatedly.
In your whole journey, there are a lot of students, being an academician, there are a lot of students who come to me and say, ma'am, I can't speak good English. So how much is good enough, in your life, in your academics and further in life, to speak good English? So all language barriers.
Yeah, so I learned it on the fly. It's all about, I don't have a certificate in German language, but I can even translate documents in German language. Whenever we speak any language, we never follow grammatic rules. The most important point, takeaway from this point is that how much effectively we are able to communicate with the friend person. Are we able to convey our thought, whatever we have in our mind, to the friend person? So there is one of the most important points. And we conduct also at Skyroot Aerospace, we take a lot of people as interns. In the whole process, we also notice that a lot of people have, English as a barrier. They come from Telugu medium. And we don't see that as a major problem. In the process, they have also developed this. The main point, what comes out is, in the process of an interview, you are also able to judge that this person has knowledge, is not able to communicate. So that's the reason sometimes problem statements come out, so that they can get out of this barrier. And if you notice, I think there are at least 10% of the audience here who are with that mindset.
Exactly. In fact, I'm fortunate to have some great teachers in my life. One of those teachers, when I was in college, told me this. Not to me specifically, but for the entire class. If you really think something gives you confidence, go do it. In fact, he told me about his example in life. When he has as little as 100 rupees left in the pocket, he wanted to feel that he's a big businessman. So he walked into the best hotel, maybe Taj or Oberoi or whatever it is, and used that 100 rupees to buy one coffee and just sit there, sip it with everyone, feel that, and come out. I took that immediate lesson. This was when I was 18 and 19 years old. I was always in an opinion that I should be looking good, I should be presentable. So immediately I took all the money my parents gave me for that week, went to the salon and got the best haircut, best facial, best color, best French beard. And I tell you what, it gave me humongous confidence that week until the hair grew back again. And what is the lesson in this? Each of us find confidence through certain objects, certain aspects, certain things in our life. And these things change at time to time in your life. Whatever and wherever you can find that confidence, take it. Whatever it needs to be spent on, take it. Because money is not important at that point, the confidence is important. And if that is language, learn it. If that is a car, buy it. If that is meditation, do it. Whatever gives you confidence, don't hesitate to not do it. Whatever expensive, but spend your money, not your parents' money. So earn that money yourself and figure that out.
Yeah, well, very nice. Confidence is important. Second important thing for the communication man. So irrespective of the language, what you are trained or coached or mentored, what really stops you to speak is fear. The fear comes generally because of your judgment, what others are thinking. So I always say that be clear in your mindset and do not judge what others think about you. Try to judge about yourself, what you want to ask, what you want to express, what you want to explore. So as long as you remove that element of fear in your mind, you will be able to express the things. Today I see that there are many questions might be there in every individual, but there is a fear which is stopping you. remove that fear. Do not expect others to interpret. Do not bother what others judge, but try to express yourself. When you start expressing yourself, you will be able to make lot of wonders, and the confidence what Jignesh said, right, it automatically gets built. Just remove that fear. And any language you can communicate, doesn't matter in the industry today, whether English or Telugu or Hindi, doesn't matter, as long as you are expressive and you are making your point very clear to the other person to understand. That is important.
If you are talking in one language and if the opposite person is not able to understand, then it's a different point. But if you are talking in a language that the opposite person also doesn't know, then at least be proud that you know something which the other person doesn't know. And learn that.
Very nice to say, sir. Thank you for that. It actually reminds me of a so point conveying the level is important. Okay, na? Wonderful, sir. I think the moment we pose a question to our panelists, they're going on and on. So, sir, in the interest of time, we're going to take two questions. I think a couple of parents are actually wanting to ask questions, and with that, we're going to conclude it. Sir, go ahead.
Question is very simple question. Actually, to select a career, do we have to follow a passion or the lucrative nature of a career? So you may say that, you follow your passion, money will obviously will follow you. But, students are stuck with whether do we have to follow the passion or is it the money that we have to follow?
That's a very... And my son, who is currently studying in engineering second year, and he's in VIT Chennai, and he has already had a startup. He registered a startup on the first year. It's called SITA, Mental Health and Wellness Area. Initially, during his school days, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, he was very, very passionate about robotics. I took him to IIT Mumbai, IIT Delhi, and IIT Kharagpur, where he was trying to experiment and compete with the IITians on the robotics area. But as he grown up, graduated his intermediate, I saw that his passion is towards, currently during the time of the COVID, immediately transitioned to understand there is a lot of stress which is getting accumulated in the students and also to the many people. And he feel mental wellness area, mental health and wellness area would be a great area to look at. And he passionately exploited that space, and he told, I'm going to do a startup. After that, I did not stop. I asked him to go and explore. And today, he excels in his education and also runs a startup. There are 200 plus students who volunteer to support, and I sponsor zero. He runs on his own. I don't fund anything.
Very nice, sir.
So, motivate your kids to explore their passion, give them that cushion of thinking. I believe they'll rock.
Yeah, wonderful. Sir, do you want to add something to it?
In fact, I have a different perspective from that. Being there, done that. I first followed passion. Now I follow money. I had a passion. So I want to come with a different perspective there. Passion and money are more like having a good dress and having a good meal. If I ask you what is important, when you're hungry, good meal is important. When you're going out, good dress is important. At different points of time in your life, they keep changing. But both are necessary. I have known people who started pursuing money first. Good job, go to US, make money. And after 10 years, they were super unsatisfied. They come out to do something else. But now they have already made their money. Underline that. And I have known people who spent 10, 20 years on just their passion. And later they realized they could not pay fees for their kids, they could not have the basic necessities, they can't go and sit around with their friends because they can't dress well as their friends, or open a credit card and give it for a restaurant bill. And they are now thinking about making money too. So from my perspective, I think don't follow one. You can start with one, but eventually both are important. So finding an opportunity or a career in life where you get money as well you will be satisfied. That's the crux, and that is not so easy. Many people are struggling at the age of 40s and 50s still get there. But until you find it, it is okay to do anything until you know what exactly you need to do in your life. So this is not what I said, this is a great man. Long time ago he said. It is okay to do anything until you know exactly what you need to do with your life. And when you choose that anything, choose the best one. It could be with respect to money or respect. But you need everything in life. One does it. One is not enough.
Yeah, very nice, sir. Thank you. Kiran Garu, you want to add something to that perspective?
Both are equally very, very important. And when you see from a research and development point of view, then money is completely zero. I'm telling the facts. But when you come back to the point saying that R&D was only at sort of government organization level previously, and now it's not anymore. And people are coming out of that concept of we want to work in a government organization. So this is also a point which parents can't digest. So just there's an example, when I was resigning from my job at ISRO, my parents were not happy. Which of the parents? Neither, Pawan and Bharat who came out of ISRO and started Skyroad.
Why? Let's talk about Bala after 10 years. Yeah. Today it's happening because the kid is still a student doing extracurricular activity.
Exactly. So at the end of the day, what actually is important is the passion in combination with what is satisfying the pockets. Both balance is what is important. And it's not like in the previous ages. And the same is not going to be also for the future. It's going to change. And adapting to that, as we've all have been saying since the beginning, is very important.
Yeah.
Like basically the diversity.
Very nice. Thank you. Can we give a round of applause for those wonderful answers? So actually, I'm being hard pressed to stop here, but I already promised.
Sirs, I'm very happy to be here. So my question is about the difference between robotics and AI. That's the first question. To this, I want to add one more point, like, is it mandatory that students have to go with the relevant education, or they can build their career on this from other perspectives?
So I'll probably start with it. Believe it or not, it is the best in the world. I've seen places which have been ruined by so-called terminology of westernization. But our standards, whatever our ancestors have brought to us in the current scenario, are the best. So when it comes to the first part of your question, robotics and AI. So robotics and AI to be taught at an early age is being done throughout the world in the current day scenario. And where are we? It's not about what we are not teaching. We are teaching what do you call, but we are building a particular character to our kids. Yeah, this particular thing, I don't have a translation of that word in English, but this particular thing, what we are building for the kids is already a very good standard. In addition to that, we want to adapt our kids to the next generation. That is the place where AI, robotics, programming, any other sort of things which are going to come into play. So, for example, the Atal Innovation Labs and the Government of India has set up so many labs. What is the necessity of it? It's only to build the next generation. We're not supposed to use a machine which is available here, rather build a damn machine much better than what is existing in the market. So that should be the thought process in which our country has to develop. Then only we are able to see the next generation betterment of humans.
Probably, yeah, thank you, sir. Would you like to quickly add a few points? Jignesh, you want to add, to that, the difference between the...
Today, build games, AI, and the most advanced products of the world. So, education doesn't mean anything to build something, but is it necessary? It can be a catalyst to make it faster. And the basics and fundamentals that you learn here, you might not always find time when you go to the career mode to spend that much time, go deeper to the fundamentals. Today when I do things, I don't do the fundamentals. I have a team who does fundamentals, who might be a specialist in their subject. So I can be a generalist, but for you to become a fundamentalist, you have to study that. Generalists can come from anywhere. Today 90% of the global CEOs are either mechanical engineers or electrical engineers who are running the AI companies of the world. So you can run any company, you can build anything, you can do anything in your life, but you can be only a generalist. Otherwise, you have to spend a lot of time, like 4 years spending on one subject is not so easy for someone in business. But when you come from college, you really learn that and come there. So you can become a specialist at it. That's the only difference.
Yeah, that's a very, very crisp answer. Can we give a round of applause? Balaji, you want to add something to it? Your perspective? Quick 30 seconds, sir.
Sure. Robotics and AI. Robotics basically is a convergence of multiple technologies coming together to make the humanoids or any kind of a hardware robots which will be able to perform the regular monotonous job functions in a simple and easier manner. Intelligence is what the ability to provide the decision making, and it does not require any formal education. People of different specialists come together to solve a generic problem of the industry. So I would say that it's not one skill which makes the robotics happen, it's a multitude of skills which makes it happen. And rightly what Jignesh and Kiran was referring, you need to have the combination skills to make it happen, and one person cannot do that job. It's a combination of people which can do that job. Whether it is a formal or informal education, intent is important. Make your intent clear, you'll be able to solve any problems with that goal in mind. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you for that wonderful answer. And thank you for those wonderful questions. So with that, I'm going to conclude the panel discussion, and thank you for this wonderful opportunity to all the panelists. A round of applause. Thank you. Yes, sir.